good afternoon, and welcome to Hot Jobs with us here at Higher Military. How are you? It's so lovely to see you today. Before we get going, we want to know who is here. So drop your name in the chat, in the comments. Let us know where you are watching from. If you have a SkillBridge on your mind, or you're looking at permanent job opportunities, or if you've got a question you would like us to answer today, Amber and I are very happy to acknowledge as many questions and give you our support, information, and advice on anything to do with the transition, the job search, the hunt, the resume, interview skills, salary negotiation, you name it. We hopefully are able to support you today. We will today be talking about our newest SkillBridge or CSP internship opportunities, as well as a flavor of our permanent job opportunities that we are recruiting for at the moment. We've got some great conversation that we want to get going with before we start all of that, just in terms of our experiences over the last couple of weeks as recruiters and information that we have seen and interactions that we have had with applicants and candidates. Actually, that's a good question for you. Do you know the difference between an applicant and a candidate? We work with both here at Higher Military. And really how we work and how the staffing agency or the recruiting agency model works out there in the civilian marketplace. So if you have any questions about that, we will be entering into that conversation in a second. But really, to remind you that this is our favorite 30 minutes of the week. I know we say it, but it genuinely is, because it's great to interact with a larger audience, a population that we only get to see once a week. And our friend Dion is in the chat there. He is a great advocate and champion of ours here at Higher Military. If you're not connected with him, you should do so, because he has some great information and shares an awful lot across LinkedIn. Take a look at our website, highermilitary.us. As we are talking today, we will be sharing our roles, our SkillBridge internships, but there is an awful lot more information that we have hosted on our website. Every time we come up with an idea of information that we want to share, we write an article about it. Let's be honest, we don't. Our marketing team, Olivia, in the marketing team does. And we post it after we've shared it on LinkedIn. We post it on our website as a resource for everybody to be able to take a look at. So if you are a military spouse and want to have a great understanding of how to put your volunteer experience on your resume, we've made a post about that. We have an open letter to your commander with regard to the benefit of the SkillBridge or the CSP internship program if you're looking to steal a few hints and tips. We've got a great piece about drafting an effective LinkedIn profile. And finally, the one that I always share is the targeting the resume. I've been working with a lot of candidates over the last couple of weeks, and I share that URL every single time because it really is ideal and a perfect short piece to read. It probably takes 5 minutes to identify how to create a really competitive resume that showcases you as the ideal candidate for a specific role. And what else have we got for you? So in our hot links and events that we want to share with you this week, on Friday, so this Friday, that is May the 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Mike Quinn, our now CGO, was CEO, but now CGO, Chief Growth Officer, and I will be hosting a LinkedIn audio. If you haven't joined us before, it's unrecorded, unlike this one. It's audio on LinkedIn, unlike this. There's no visual. It's like a radio chat show. We just talk to each other until you have a question for us, and then we share our experiences, information, support, encouragement as best as we possibly can. Lots of people listen in just to hear the questions that other people ask, and then they get the courage to put their hand up and have a chat with us, and we love it. So that's at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. And then next week, Mike, again, working with the USO, is delivering his Mastering LinkedIn and Building a Personal Brand webinar. And that is an awesome 2 hours. You do have to register on the USO website. We can share the link for that. It's next Tuesday, I believe, the 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And that will teach you everything that you want to know about networking and creating an awesome LinkedIn profile here on this platform. Great to see everybody today. Thank you for joining us. So Amber, as we get going, we were going to have a conversation. What were we going to have a conversation about?
I think we were going to have a conversation about just the different opportunities that we have and the different things that we run into when we are dealing with candidates. Like you said, the difference between a candidate and an applicant. And some of the things that we see that go well for our applicants and sometimes the not so well things. Because at the end of the day, we want to help you. We want to be transparent about this process and set you up for success as you go through.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I want everybody to know that as we share this information, this isn't derogatory at all in the slightest. I promise you it's not. We're sharing this from the bottom of our hearts with absolute love in our hearts because we can't talk to everybody individually that interacts with us on LinkedIn. If we did, we'd have no time to actually deliver our roles that we are paid for and hit the KPIs and the metrics that we're targeted with. So as a consequence, we wanted to share this information to really get the message out in terms of what good looks like when you're interacting with a recruiter and why we're here. And I say this not to say like, hey, this is our judgment and our expectation, but at the end of the day, a recruiter is somebody who is engaged by a company to find candidates. A lot of the time people come to us because they think or perceive that a recruiter is somebody who will find them a job. We can't help you with a job unless we have a job. We can't help you find one. We have to have that job in hand and then work with you as a suitable applicant. So applicant is the person that applies. The candidate is the person that we engage and we process through and submit to the company that we're working with as somebody that we stand behind. We attach our own personal credibility to and reputation to and say, hey, Mr. Mrs. Client, you have to meet with this candidate because we think they are awesome. You have said you're looking for X, Y, and Z. They have got this in spades, and their personality and their culture is a really great add to your organization and your company as well. And remember, a lot of companies use recruiters because the job description is 50% of the success rate when it comes to finding a really ideal candidate. The other 50% is the personality, is the experience, is what they bring, how they deliver themselves, and how they're going to fit in with the existing team. This is why we're having more and more panel interviews these days, because more people want to engage and meet with a potential hire before that offer has been made. So go on, Amber, kick off. What have you seen last week, in terms of like, oh, really?
Let's see. For the most part, I mean, I have working on the SkillBridge side of the house, the CSP, for our transitioning service members. It's a new world. So I am very understanding when I come across people about, they don't understand the process. They don't know what to expect. And so when I schedule screenings with people, I will set them up for success the best that I can. I get people who will do screenings with me in the car, from their office. It doesn't matter for me personally. I'm there to get to know you, to ask you questions about your transition timeline, how you meet the roles, what your resume looks like, and honestly there to assist you and to get your resume ready and to get you ready potentially for an interview with the company, which includes making sure, you get your time zone correct on your calendar. So that way, when you set up an appointment, it happens at the right time. Make sure that your camera is ready to go, you're dressed appropriately, what questions to anticipate before the interview. So I think the only couple of things I've run into is there are a lot of jobs out there. A lot of people are out there clicking apply, and then going into interviews or screenings not knowing who it is that they're meeting with or why, or the job they forgot. So my only suggestion for that is, I know it's overwhelming. And especially when you're looking at a lot of opportunities so that you can see what's out there. My suggestion is to make some kind of database, whether it's a Word document, Excel, it doesn't matter, but write down who it is you're meeting with, whether you're connected with them on LinkedIn, how you found the job, what a job you applied for, their contact information, because you want to keep track of that stuff, and you want to remember how far you got in the process. Were they supposed to call you? Were you supposed to follow up with them? It's just a great way to keep track of all the information, and to make sure that you're staying on top of it, and you're sending those thank you notes, and you're staying on top of that job that you really, really want, because like Lucy said before, we've said recruiters are busy, and sometimes we forget we are not perfect people by any means. So when we sit here and tell you all this stuff, it's because we've sat on the other side just like you. And so it works out really well when you just kind of try to organize it, and make those touch points with those recruiters.
And build a relationship with us, because we are your champion. We are your advocate out there. The more you make us laugh, the more that you take, the more time you take to really disseminate your experience and your skill set, and have that conversation, ask us those questions, do your preparation, the more inclined we are to really represent you in the marketplace, because we feel that we see your motivation, we see your appetite, your hunger, your desire, and we want to be a part of that. Like I said to you before, if we are attaching our credibility to you, we know that we're good as recruiters, but we're positioning you as almost a stranger out there. So we need to see that element of desire and hunger from you, so that we know when you get in front of our clients, you're going to represent yourself in a way that we are proud of, and hopefully will transition you through to the next interview. There are a couple these days in terms of the process. We try and manage it at 2 or 3, but sometimes, I don't think we've had a client recently that's gone further than that, but there were some days this time last year where there were 5 or 6, and it is painful, and we do appreciate that. As much as we educate that side as well, sometimes the process is the process. But as we always say, we are here to get you the job. It makes our lives easy. Our KPI and our personal success and metrics are based on you getting it. So the better we can prepare you and get you ready for action, the better it is for all of us. Is there anything more, Amber, you would add?
No, I mean, I know Krista just posted a comment, building the relationship with us. Honestly, I can say in the a little over a year I've been in this job, I have made some amazing connections with people just via LinkedIn and via screenings. And I continue to have relationships with them and support them. And I'm their champion. And if they ever, find themselves not having a job, I will do everything I can to, put them out there, support them, send people their way. So it really does. It does matter. This is a community. It is a network that you can really leverage, and, it does go a long way.
So shall we get going? Shall we share some jobs? Yeah. So I'm going to go first with the permanent jobs, direct hire, you may hear. So the job opportunities that we have, and these are open for application to anybody who is connected to the military community. If you're a spouse, I want to hear from you. Let's help all those spouses out there. If you're a veteran or transitioning service member, I absolutely want to hear from you. So anybody, if you're a dependent or you have a dependent that would be interested, skilled and experienced, suitably rather qualified, I want to hear from you. And then I can help you create a really successful application for the role. So what have I got? I'm going to jump around a little, but let's start in the IT field first of all. Professional services consultant. You have heard me mention this role the last couple of weeks if you've been following. However, there's a slight change, and it's one for the benefit of our community. This is a remote role during training, so for about 10 weeks, and then you must be situated on site in either the DC metro area, so that will be Herndon, Virginia, or Fort Meade, Maryland. This can potentially be a SkillBridge internship opportunity. However, they do prefer a permanent member of staff. But the deal breaker here is the clearance. Now, up until last week, they were looking for candidates that, well, let's say needles and haystacks at a full scope poly level. They've reduced that now to CI poly. So if you have a CI poly, you are looking to become a IT consultant, and I mean that in the genuine intent of the word, consulting with external companies that are often in the Intel GovCon space on IT products and software, if that is your jam, you think that sounds really interesting, connect with me. The CI Poly is the deal breaker though. You do need to have Linux experience. That is a must. Obviously, a background in IT and or cyber is needed as well. But the depth and the degree of that can be waived, as it were, just based on the right candidate with the clearance. So that is IT professional services consultant in either Fort Meade, Maryland, or the DC metro area. Then I am going to skip to some roles that we have with a new client of ours. They are a food services company. They are nationwide, hence why we have nationwide opportunities. We have multiple on our careers page at the moment. But they have signed a 1-year exclusive hiring agreement with us here at Hire Military because they specifically want veterans and military spouses. So they are looking to increase the DEI within their organization with our population. And that's really because the new president that is incoming, or is actually in place now, is prior active duty himself. And he wants to surround himself with the technical aptitude and attitude of the military population. So what have I got? In Farmers Branch, which is northwest Dallas, I put northeast here, but northwest Dallas, so Texas, we have sales managers, we have training specialists, we have an accounting manager, that's paying within the 6 figures, and we have a NetSuite administrator, which is new, is not on our website right now, but if any of these are of interest to you, you can drop a comment or send me a DM. That NetSuite administrator is paying about $110,000 per annum minimum, so there's a good salary attached to that. But they are looking for people who are motivated, they are recruiting quickly, and then also nationwide, we have training specialists. So Indianapolis, LA, Baton Rouge. If you are in those areas and you're looking for a training type role, definitely connect and I can share more information there. I have 2 more roles to share today. One is remote. It is a cyber war game exercise developer. This is working on behalf of a very well-known, one of the largest investment companies globally, but this one's American-based, US-based, and it's to work independently and as part of a team to host information security-themed cyber exercises, referred to commonly as cyber war games. So if you want to be a cyber war game exercise developer and facilitator, listen on. They're looking for cyber exercise or incident response experience, about 3 to 5 years ideally. Somebody with an exceptional level of Microsoft PowerPoint, because slide decks are their jam. It really is working on all 3 phases of the war game: the preparation, the administration, and the after phase. And somebody who can communicate well, work well externally, because this is client driven. It's incredibly professional, as you would imagine from an investment company. And I am taking applications right now. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, let me know. I do need to make a note that this is a 12-month fixed term contract, which is remote. There is the potential for it to be permanent afterwards, but for that, you would need to consider the possibility of living in and around Wilmington, Delaware. If you just want to be remote, this would be a 12-month contract. And then one final role for me is working with, it's a nonprofit, but in the national and financial security space, terribly professional and prestigious, small organization. The president and CEO, that's one person, is looking for an executive assistant. And I want you to think less secretarial and more aide-de-camp chief of staff, somebody to be his right-hand person, to block and tackle, to gatekeep, to be in his brain, to support, and often be in his stead in managing activity and delivering information. This is on-site in Arlington. It is a permanent position, 6-figure salary. So if that sounds intriguing and interesting, I am interviewing this week for that role. Definitely connect with me via DM or drop a comment below and I can share more information from our website with the URL. That's it from me, Amber. Over to you.
All right. So I'm going to talk about our SkillBridge opportunities. So really quickly before I jump into those, I want to mention, who is eligible for SkillBridge. SkillBridge, or sometimes referred to as the Army Career Skills Program. Those programs are for transitioning active duty service members during their last 6 months of service. So that's based off of your estimated separation date. So it's typically 180 days from your separation date. Now, every branch is different. Every command team is different. So you may not be authorized to participate in the full 180 days. So we do encourage you to have the conversation with your command team and your transition counselors to make sure that you are eligible and what your eligibility dates are before you start getting really deep into applying for programs. We do strive for a high probability of full-time offer once complete with the internship, which is always dependent on performance. But all of these roles that I'm going to mention, there is a high probability for a full-time role at the end. So to get started, we'll shake it up just a little bit. This one is new and exciting. So for any of you who may be looking at boots to business, you're wanting to set up your own business post-military, you want to be your own boss, we have an amazing opportunity with a company nationwide. They are looking to bring on SkillBridge interns to get a feel for the entrepreneurial role, right? So running some of their locations nationwide. When I say nationwide, I mean we're talking about Texas, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, Boston, New York City, San Diego, Long Beach, Seattle, Washington, and Chicago. Those are just like the main metro areas that I could fit into this. So if you are passionate about owning your own business, you're curious, you want to get hands-on experience and kind of figure out what it takes to be an entrepreneur before you actually spend any of your own money in an investment, this is for you. 3 to 4 months of an internship with this company, and you get to see everything from business strategy, project management, data analysis, networking, market research, all of it. So they are looking for people who are interested in running their own business, who have strong analytical skills, passion for innovation, great communication skills. Those are just to name a few. If you are interested in getting hands-on experience and learning from other entrepreneurs and industry experts, this is definitely an opportunity that you want to look into. Send me a message, drop a comment in the chat. I will get with you after this and give you some more information. So it's an exciting opportunity. I know there's a lot of people I talk to who say, just want to be my own boss for a while. And this is a great opportunity to see if you would really like it. So, all right, my next position is IT based. So we are looking for anyone who has a top secret clearance. That's going to be the must have. You don't need any experience in IT. We are looking for people who can start anywhere between July and any time of the year, honestly. So if you have a TS clearance, you are interested in becoming a programmer, we have a company who wants to bring you on board and train you as an AWS solutions architect. This training is remote. It is 16 weeks, give or take. And once that internship portion, the SkillBridge internship portion is complete, you will then enter into a contract where you will undergo another 10 weeks of paid training. And then once that training is complete, they will assign you to a company that they work with, either in the DC metro area or San Antonio, for the permanent role. Really, the biggest factor is knowing your way around a computer. They do have training for you to study. Do be aware that this is a lot of training, but there is a full-time role at the end on site in the DC metro or San Antonio area. Fantastic for anybody who wants to get into IT and they don't have experience. This is literally the pathway. And the hard must is the TS clearance. So if you are interested, drop a comment in the chat, AWS Solutions Architect, and we will share the link with you after this. The next role, continuing on with our IT, is a solutions engineer, which is also remote. We are looking for people who are passionate about Splunk technology, solutions, applications, technology, and wanting to get into product positioning, both with businesses and technical users. So if you are interested in being a solutions engineer, we're looking for people with 3 to 5 years of full-time work experience in any industry. Anybody who is excited by growth, showcasing technical excellence, value in products, or if you're just passionate about client relationships, sales, and technology, this is definitely an opportunity to look for. We are hiring for several positions for the solutions engineer this year, and it is remote. So if you are interested, let us know and we will share a link afterwards. And finally, my last one I have is an operations manager in Dover, Delaware. So our partners at Veteran Service Brands, GeForce Parking Lot Striping, are looking for an operations manager to help them set up and run their Dover, Delaware operations. So they're looking for someone who will report directly to the owner and the other leadership teams and basically build this from the ground level up. This position has a high potential for major growth, earned performance bonuses, you name it. It is a hybrid position. So you will work remotely sometimes and then other times on site as you'll go to some of the different sites to oversee progress, oversee the teams that are out there working. So they're looking for people with 3 or more years of project management experience. Estimation experience in the construction industry is preferred, but that is negotiable. So really just if you have PM experience, you want to get into business operations, this is definitely a company you want to take a chance on because Veteran Service Brands, they're fantastic. They are all of their managers are veterans, all of their company owners are veterans, and this is a great opportunity to kind of get in and see how things work and learn. Again, very similar to an entrepreneurial experience hands-on during your SkillBridge time. So if you're interested, operations manager, we'll share that link with you after the live. And that is all I have, Lucy.
I have a couple of other opportunities to share just to highlight from our website. So you can go to our careers page at hiremilitary.us and go to permanent jobs. We are sharing roles on behalf of an organization called Floribama. They are based, funnily enough, in Florida and Alabama on the panhandle there. They've got hospitality roles that they are recruiting at the moment, operations manager, right there on the beach. If you see that as your future for this summer and you just want to hang out, serve a cocktail, drink a cocktail, feel that sand in your toes. Second of all, we work with a phenomenal entrepreneurial organization called Veteran Service Brands. They have 4 different opportunities to own a franchise through them. They have every single element of training, support, collateral. It is a turnkey purchase in terms of a business. And actually, we interviewed one of the senior managers this week, and you'll be hearing a little bit more about one of the specific brands over the next few weeks from us. And they literally give you everything. They spoon feed you how to run and manage your own company. They have 4 different trades that you can buy into. One is paint striping. One is that's that parking lot paint striping. One is residential and commercial house painting. Another one is Mach 1, which is epoxy flooring in garages. And the other one is athletic field striping. All these things that you never knew needed to be done. You see them every day, but you don't quite know how they get there. They're the people. And these businesses are successful in terms of business and in terms of financial reward and remuneration. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more and being connected with them for a conversation, do let us know and we can make that introduction. We have some law enforcement vacancies on our website as well, police and firefighting, mainly East Coast and West Coast. So if that sounds like something of interest to you in terms of locations being Baltimore, Seattle, San Francisco, New Orleans, definitely take a look because we're working with an organization to bring those vacancies to the forefront of your mind. And finally, if you are ready to go solo and to hit and go back down range again, we work with a great contracting company called Acuity International. They provide process and tech-based critical services to the government and commercial enterprises around the world. They currently have vacancies in Iraq and Somalia, and they're looking for veterans to fulfill various positions in security, intel analysis, and medical technology. So if you'd like the URL for that, or you want to be motivated and look yourself, you can go to hiremilitary.us. We did have a couple of questions. I know that we've overrun by a minute, and I know that Krista has been awesome at answering them as we go along. I did want to piggyback onto something that she said, which was Kyle asked about how to identify for job seekers, or how we help job seekers identify whether vacancies that are being published are real or not real, because that's a real issue right now. Krista mentioned that we unfortunately aren't career counselors, so that would be more in the career counselor realm rather than the recruiter realm. However, one thing that I always suggest is go to that company's website. Don't rely on ZipRecruiter or Indeed or LinkedIn or Monster or wherever you might see the role hosted, even Google on Google Jobs. Actually go to that company's website, look for the role, do your due diligence and research before you make any application. And I always suggest making applications through the company's careers page rather than through a third party. If it is on a third party website, I promise you it will be on their own external job board on their website. So go there first of all to assess the validity of that role. Amber, we did it. It's over. 30 minutes we've been here talking. So thanks everybody for joining us. It's always a pleasure. And we will be back next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for more Hot Jobs with Hire Military. Take care. Bye-bye.